in the name of God. I am Command Kashi. I am at your service with the 22nd section of the International Transport Training. I have dedicated the 22nd section to getting acquainted with international railway transport conventions and types of waybills in rail transport. Please stay with me. A rail waybill, as we have previously explained in the trainings related to shipping documents, is a document issued by railway companies in rail transport, and through this document the railway company declares that it has received the goods listed in the waybill and has undertaken to deliver them safely and soundly to the owner of the goods at the destination. Like other waybills, the rail waybill is a non-negotiable and non-transferable document and is not considered a document of title to the goods. Therefore, it cannot be transferred to another person by endorsement. In rail transport, we have two types of waybills. One is the CIM waybill and the other is the SMGS waybill. And depending on the convention under which the goods are being transported and which governs our rail transport, either of these waybills may be issued for that transport. We will talk about these conventions in the next slide. One of the most important conventions for the carriage of goods by rail is the COTIF Convention. The COTIF Convention covers most European and Middle Eastern countries and has 8 annexes, 4 of the most important of which we will explain to you here. Annex A, which is called CIV, discusses the uniform rules concerning the contract for international carriage of passengers by rail. Annex B, or CIM, which has the same name as the CIM Waybill, discusses the uniform rules concerning the contract for international carriage of goods by rail. Annex C, or RID, discusses the regulations concerning the international carriage of dangerous goods by rail. And finally, Annex D, or CUV, discusses the uniform rules concerning the contract for the use of vehicles in international traffic. The waybill issued under the regulations of this convention, i.e. the COTIF Convention, is the CIM Waybill, whose original language is French, or the national language of the issuing country, and it has 5 copies. We will explain its 5 copies in the next slide, what copies they are and for whom they are intended. The 5 copies of the CIM Waybill are divided as follows. The first copy, which is the original copy of the waybill, is sent with the goods and delivered to the consignee at the destination station. The second sheet, which is called the route sheet, is sent with the shipment and contains complete information about the goods, a copy of which can be provided to them as a record at the request of the route countries and the relevant customs. The third form is the goods arrival notice, which is delivered to the consignee along with the goods at the destination station. The fourth sheet is a copy of the waybill or the sender's special copy, and the 5th copy is the dispatch note that remains at the origin station. In this section, we want to talk about the OSJD Organization and the Agreement on the Transportation of Goods by Rail, which is the SMGS Waybill. The railways of the CIS countries, some Eastern and Central European countries, China, Mongolia, Korea, Vietnam, and Iran, have concluded an agreement through the Railway Cooperation Organization, or the OSJD Organization, to organize international direct freight transport by rail line. This agreement is valid for all goods transport operations between the member stations of this agreement and can be implemented with the SMGS Waybill that is issued. The SMGS Waybill, like the CIM Waybill, has its own specific language. Its language is Russian and the national language of the issuing country, and it also has annexes. Annex 1 is the freight transport regulations. Annex 2, regulations for the transport of dangerous goods on international communication lines. Annex 3, technical regulations for loading and securing cargo. Annex 4, regulations related to private wagons. Annex 5, the notification instructions, and Annex 6, the CIM or SMGS waybill instructions. And this waybill is printed in 7 copies, and in the next slide we will talk about what those copies are and who they belong to. The 7 copies of the SMGS Waybill each have their own name and belong to one person. The first copy, copy number 1, is called the original Waybill, which is sent to the destination with the goods. The second copy is called the route list, which is sent with the goods to the destination. The third copy is called the delivery note, which is sent with the goods to the destination. The fourth copy, the second copy of the waybill, is delivered to the sender at the origin. The fifth copy is the acceptance note, which remains at the origin station. The sixth copy is the arrival notice of the goods, which is delivered to the consignee at the destination station along with the goods. And the seventh copy is the unnumbered copy of the waybill or the route list for transit railways or the supplementary copy. The information included in rail waybills is similar to that in other waybills and bills of lading, with some minor differences. This includes the name and address of the consignor, the origin and destination stations of the goods, the name and address of the consignee, and complete details of the goods such as type, tariff, dimensions, weight, and the number and type of packages. The wagon number is also included as well as customs-related details. Finally, freight charges, which are usually based on the relevant railway tariff and are payable either in advance or upon delivery, are also listed.